Welcome to Two Facts and a Clink, the podcast where we share facts and alcohol. I am your host, Earl.
And I am your other host, Olive.
And today we're going to get right into it. Our drink for today is going to be the Beatbox. This is a cardboard box looking thing. It's tropical themed. It's super excited. I'm glad to have a beatbox today.
No. Oh no.
Yeah. 11.1 alcohol by volume. My flavor is fruit punch, and Olive has blue raspberry. Mm-hmm. The side of the box advises that it contains alcohol, so beware of that. Below that, it claims to be the world's tastiest party punch. We will be reviewing that claim at the end of the podcast, so stick around for that when we do our review. It recommends you try it frozen, which we did not do.
We tried. It was in the freezer, but not for long.
Yeah. Maybe you have to put it in the blender with ice or something. I bet that would be way good.
Oh, it probably would. But
besides that, it is gluten-free and glass-free. I would hope so, because it's in a cardboard box. But... All right. Anything else to add to that?
The top of it says, "Party better. Please drink responsibly."
Is that what mine says? "Party better together."
Party better.
Okay.
Drink responsibly. Please remember to drink responsibly.
Always.
And be over the age of 21.
Yeah. Where applicable.
What?
Europe. I'm pretty sure it's not 21 in Europe.
Oh. I mean, yeah, it's probably not.
No, I don't think so. But, all right. So, just a heads up for everybody, we're going to have timestamps in the description of the beginning of my fact and the beginning of Olive's fact, and also a timestamp for the review at the end if you're just here for the booze review. Mm-hmm. And with that, I believe we could get straight into the facts. So we're going to play rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Tie. We're going to do this every time. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Boom. Shit. Okay.
Whoops.
So I am going to have Olive go first.
Oh, no. I mean, part of me is glad because, if you learned anything from the first episode, I am a little bit of a lightweight. So, part of me is glad that I am going first because I'll just get it done and out of the way. It's like a presentation, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So kind of before I start going into my fun fact, I just want to let you know that I do love this podcast and I like the idea behind it. I really like looking up facts and doing the research behind it because I think it's just super cool to see the reasoning as to why something happens or find new things that we really didn't know beforehand.
Agreed.
Right? And I never want this podcast to ever feel like a lecture because I've been in way too many of those.
All right, get ready for my fact. I'm just kidding.
I don't want it to be a lecture. My brain is burnt out. But also, if it does get to that point, then maybe be a little concerned.
All right, everybody, turn to page 224.
Oh, no. No, thank you. I have a little bit of flashbacks. And as much fun as I have had, it is sometimes hard trying to come up with a fun fact. I have my list going. And I keep adding to that list, which is super fun and fine. But sometimes it just takes it out of me. So.
Interesting.
I know.
I mean, that's understandable.
It's understandable, but it'll get to the point where I'm fun fact. Yes.
Put on your blue light glasses, sit down at the computer.
Yeah, that's what I need.
It's gonna get real.
Yeah, also, just so you all know, they apparently make migraine glasses, and I didn't know that. So, if you want to fund my migraine glasses, let me know. Just kidding. Just kidding. Only a little bit. But with all of that, because, I like to do my little spiels and like to add more time to my segment. I'm excited to talk about kind of my next fact and the things that I was able to find on it. And so I hope everybody can stay engaged because
How much did you drink already?
I didn't. I had a sip. But
That's all it takes.
literally. But I hope everybody can stay engaged kind of with my topic because it goes into science.
Ooh.
I know. And science usually goes in one ear for me sometimes and out the other. The science related to like elements, like bonds, all of those things. Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah,
But like
I was scared for a second you're gonna be like, yeah, so the covalent bonds are so interesting.
yes, that's what we're presenting on today. Just kidding. But like behavioral science and social sciences, like I love those. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So I can't remember where I like exactly saw this, but I saw something that talked about our autonomic. Is that the word? Is that how I say it?
Autonomic?
Yeah.
I mean, if those are the letters that are there, I mean,
Yeah,
I
I think so. Please cut that out. But I can't remember where I found this idea to kind of look this up, but I saw something that talked about kind of our autonomic nervous system and how it reacts when we're around genuine and authentic people.
Interesting.
I know. So I wrote that down, and that's all I literally wrote down were those exact words because I was like, I don't know what I'm listening to. And I didn't want to forget it because I thought it would be really cool. But then I was at work, and the therapist that I was shadowing was working with this kid, and they brought up the same idea, like the same concept, but they had it directed to a theory.
Okay.
And then when I heard that, I was like, that's what it was. And so I did my research on that. And so it's the science of feeling safe, but it's also known as the Polyvagal Theory.
Oh, that's a fun word too.
Yeah. It's a fun word. But it was developed by Stephen Porges. And so this theory basically dives into what's happening in our bodies and how we react when we're not feeling safe. So, as a maybe future therapist one day, this is important for me to know, right? So, when our nervous system does not feel safe or at ease, it's really hard to be present. Like, I don't know about you, but me personally, like, I'm going to be very open and transparent. When I am kind of out of balance, not at ease, or like I feel off in a way, like I run. I leave. I'm like, no thank you.
Fight or flight or freeze.
Yeah, I'm a runner. I'm a get me a flight out of here. But and then eventually I come back, because at some point it usually ends up back on my plate. And the saying, like, not my circus, not my monkeys.
I've heard it recently.
I love that. But it ends up being my monkeys eventually. So I got to get that taken care of, which I go to therapy for. So we're fine. But so kind of most of you have probably heard or read in some sort of class about the parasympathetic system and the sympathetic system. Have you heard about those?
No.
Well, in short, because I don't understand science a lot sometimes, like I said. But in short, so the sympathetic system is your stress response, and the parasympathetic system is your relaxation response.
Oh, okay.
So this theory, it contains like 3 response states that we can be in. And so the first is the fight or flight, like you just said.
Or freeze. Underrated
True.
freeze.
It's true. It's true.
Everybody forgets about freeze.
I forget about freeze because I don't freeze, I run. What do you do?
I think, honestly, for every person, it depends on the situation.
You think it depends on the situation?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I'm a runner every time.
I feel like in that like situation, like my subconscious mind makes a decision whether it's something that I can handle. And if it's something that I feel like I can handle in my like subconscious mind, I'll fight.
Okay.
But if it's
That's
something
fair.
that I don't think I could handle, I'll flight. I'll do that.
I'll flight.
But then if it's something like extremely terrifying and completely just like not even recognizable to my subconscious, then I'd probably freeze.
Yeah. I guess that's fair. I don't know.
I think maybe
I don't know me.
everybody, like, their subconscious biases towards either fight or flight. Like, you're either confident or you are, like, damn, of course I forget the word. You're either confident or you're cautious.
Yeah. And that's true. I'm gonna connect this a little bit to Vanderpump Rules.
Oh, yeah, check it out.
Because that show's the best. But a lot of the characters on there are fights. They will fight every single time.
Yeah, and honestly, all those people are, like, overly confident.
Oh, 100%.
So
100%. If I looked like that, I would be. Anywho, as we are off topic, we will merge back onto the road of the Polyvagal Theory. So the first kind of response state that we have is the fight or the flight or freeze. And so this can get activated when we feel threatened. And so it's just our brain deciding, are we going to fight or are we going to run away, right? Then we go into the second state, which is called the collapsed response, which is when we start to kind of feel overwhelmed. Our body shuts down, and yeah, we just start feeling like down in the dumps, kind of.
okay.
And then the third is social engagement response, which this is what was interesting to me, because this is what gets activated, and that's what helps us kind of start to feel safe. Is when we're able to connect to others.
Okay.
Super cool, right? And then something else that's really cool about this is that it talks about the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is the largest nerve in our body.
Oh, damn it. I was going to say the largest little town in America, but that's Reno.
What the hell? I get it. We're there.
Yeah.
So this nerve runs from your brainstem and it goes all the way to your large intestine.
Ooh, I bet it's thick.
It's long and gross and kind of weird to think about. Ooh, I hit the table. But so, like I said, this nerve is the largest nerve in our bodies, and so it passes through our neck, our chest, and our heart, lungs, and it ends in like the digestive tract. And so it is important with helping us, breathe, our heart rate, digestion, and like our immune response. But it also plays a big role in controlling our mood, emotions, and social behavior.
Weird. You're like, yeah, I wanted to go out tonight, but I'm just not digesting properly, and I'm like, my vagus nerve is really acting up today. So
Yeah, it's a real thing. I'm gonna let you know. With a girl with tummy issues struggles. But yeah, so kind of the last little tidbit of my little information is a quote, and how our bodies, are freaking a hot mess. Our bodies are hot messes sometimes.
Who designed this?
Yeah, I need return to sender. Horrible. Horrible. But a quote says, so our biology is wired to connect and regulate our nervous system, states with that of others. Human interactions help us feel safe and guide us back to safety after a perceived danger, and our nervous system actually seeks out others with whom we can create these positive and protective relationships with. Super fancy, huh?
Yeah, that's fun. I don't know. I feel like that's like, does that make a lot of our relationships like not genuine because it's just your nervous system looking for somebody that you could trust? Or
isn't that what soulmates are?
maybe.
But overall, this weird large nerve that we have in our bodies plays such a big role in our lives, and bodies are weird, like I said, and sometimes our bodies do silly things. But some nice things that can come from this theory that, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice and help because I like research. But some nice things that come from this theory that can help people. It helps you identify your triggers or situations that put you in that distressed state. And it's really nice to know those so you don't get triggered throughout the day. It also helps you practice self-regulation and knowing how to manage your emotional responses to those triggers.
Okay.
So, super cool. And it also helps you build social connections. So, you want to connect more with others and engage in that social engagement aspect because that helps regulate our emotional state. So, that's my fun fact, and I will leave you off on the note. Be around authentic and genuine people and build those positive relationships because it will be very good for your vagus nerve.
Yeah.
Because your vagus nerve makes you do it.
I mean, you have to make sure whatever's controlling your heart, you're making it happy.
It just connects in there.
Yeah, it's controlling it. It controls your heart.
It's in there.
And your breathing, just like the things you need to live.
Basically. But yeah, that's my fun fact.
All right, I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're going to have to edit a lot of that.
That's fine. Okay. So, my fun fact is a history lesson.
No.
I know you were saying science goes in one year and not the other. History actually does that for you.
It really does.
But
it
these
really
are fun.
does.
These are fun facts.
I'm going to let you all know that we don't talk about these like facts beforehand or what we're going to talk about. And somehow they've like had a connection in some way. Like the first episode was like the connection with
Sound.
I was like, I don't remember what the connection was. But sound. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
And then this one's like shitty school subjects.
I know. You're like, these aren't going to be lectures. Get ready for 2 lectures.
In one day. You're welcome. Surprise. We fooled you.
Yeah. You gotta get that hook, you know?
You do.
All right. So my fun fact, extremely simplified, is that there is a conspiracy theory that William Shakespeare is not a real person.
What?
Yes. There's like literal historians, experts who don't believe William Shakespeare was a real person.
Okay.
And or they believe that he was a real person, but that he didn't write his works.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. I have many questions.
Yeah. So, generally, if you want to look this up, it's known as the Shakespeare authorship question.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Like possible reasons that people at the time would like kind of take his name and use it were that like they were a noble who didn't want to deal with like the political consequences of like being in the arts, especially because some of Shakespeare's plays were like kind of like like Republican, or not Republican, but like a Republic favored political system. So they were political.
Yeah.
That's going to be a main point, is that like his plays were a little political.
Okay.
Some people believe it was a woman who was like not allowed to publish plays at the time, or like they would not be received as well.
Mm-hmm. I could see that.
A forewarning before I go into anything else. The vast majority of scholars and experts do not believe this to be true.
Okay. It's
But
just a conspiracy theory?
it's like a conspiracy theory, yes, but also it's like technically it was so long ago we can't necessarily prove that Shakespeare did write all these plays.
Unless somebody's a time traveler.
Yeah, but then we would know because they would tell us.
I'm sure they have a Doctor Who episode on that.
Maybe. Also, a bonus fun fact since you brought that up, Stephen Hawking, the genius in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
He used to throw a party every year.
Fun.
But it was only for time travelers.
What?
And so he would throw the party, and then like a day or a week after, he would announce the party. So that if you were a time traveler, you could go back
Yeah.
and attend the party.
No way.
Yeah. Nobody ever showed up. So
How do you know?
maybe, honestly, maybe somebody did show up and like they were like, "Yo, Steve, like don't tell anybody about this, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta keep this under wraps."
He had secrets.
Yeah, I mean, he was a genius, but
Oh, 100%.
I don't know. Maybe they hacked his like talking machine, so he couldn't say anything about it.
That is so mean.
Yeah, we're pretty deep in the podcast now. If anybody's hearing that joke, they're gonna appreciate it.
No, I don't think so. You gotta cut that out.
I'm not gonna.
We are sensitive people.
Oh man. Okay. So so just for everybody to get an idea of what times were like when Shakespeare was living was London was growing. It was getting bigger. Most people lived in apartment buildings that were haphazardly just scattered around all the place, like really, really bad fire hazards, which sets the scene for like the Great Fire of London.
Sad.
Yeah, modern plumbing didn't exist. This was literally the time when people were just throwing their poop out the windows. So like,
What?
yeah, something you had to keep in mind when you're walking down the street. They just throw their poop out the windows and then like let the rain wash it down into the river. The London Bridge was the only bridge across the River Thames in London. So if you wanted to cross the river, you had to either get a boat, which was like for people who were better off, or you had to cross the London Bridge. And like I said, Shakespeare's plays were pretty political.
Yeah.
The bridge was lined with the heads of traitors.
What?
Yes, but
No.
really it was just people who got involved in politics. So that kind of gives like a motivation to not be the person who's writing political plays.
Are you lying to me?
No. Popular sports at the time was bear baiting, where a tied up bear was just like, they would give it a really hard time and they just mess with the tied up bear.
Oh.
The Queen loved it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Other entertainment was gambling, cockfighting, and then public executions, which if
I guess I could see that.
Yeah, with the heads. And
Yeah,
the bridge.
yeah, I got it.
Yeah, if you were rich, you would be executed by beheading with an axe.
What?
If you were poor, you'd be beheaded, or no, you'd just be hanged. So, depending on who you were, you would get a different execution.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, over 1,000 executions a year.
Wow.
Yeah. Back then, so this is like generally true for London because it is a big city with like a river, but everybody's poop is washing into the river. It was easier to get a beer and get like clean beer that's been boiled water. At this time, basically everybody knew like if you drank out of the river, you'd get sick.
Yeah.
So it's like they kind of knew like if you boiled water, you'd be fine. So it was easier to get a beer to get a drink than it was to get clean water.
Ew. That sucks.
Yeah, so they drank a lot of beer.
Yeah.
Like other places in Europe, that's like not super true. A lot of people like to say that like the only reason we made it through the plague was because they drank so much beer, which like I'm sure that contributed to it, but I'd say like majority of Europe, it was not big populated towns. So they had springs, fast moving water, stuff like that. So,
Okay.
but in London, it was pretty much like you'd want to get a beer.
Yeah.
Also, beer was like breakfast. It was like a nutritious snack that you would have in the morning. And this like skips ahead in time a little bit, but after like Shakespeare was pretty well established, there was an outbreak of bubonic plague in London, which kept all theaters closed for about half the time for an entire decade.
Oh.
Yeah, and that started in 1609. So if you're wondering about the time it's like around the 1600s.
Yeah.
And so like a brief history of Shakespeare's life. He was born in Stratford upon Avon. I'm sure I'm saying that terribly. Warwickshire. There you go. Shakespeare was probably educated at the King's School, the King's New School in Stratford. When he was 18, he married Anne Hathaway. Yeah. Who was 26 at the time. Oh. Yeah.
Wait, how old was he?
18.
Oh, okay. Did you just say that?
I did, yeah.
Whoops.
Yes. He had 3 children, Susanna, twins, Hamnet, and Judith. And then, like, experts, they refer to the years between 1585 and 1592, so about like 7 years, as Shakespeare's lost years. Like, nobody knew what he was doing at that time. Okay. Some theories for that time is that he had fled the town for London to escape prosecution because he was illegally hunting deer. Oh. Also, he could have been teaching at a school in like a principal type position, like headmaster type thing. And then there's another theory that he was like taking care of horses at theaters in London for like the patrons who came on horse. Oh, okay. And like kind of got his start in the theater there. Okay. But nobody knows. Nobody knows. They're his lost years. Yeah. And nobody knows when he started writing, but records show that his plays were in theaters in 1592. So he was like for sure getting started in 1592. There is records of that. Yeah. Okay. Something to keep in mind is that like back in that time, if you were a poet, like an established poet or a playwright, somebody who like actually had their plays in theaters, typically you were going to university and getting an education. Okay. And Shakespeare, like, compared to his peers, like, really had no education at all. Mm-hmm. So, some seeds of doubt in there. But 1594, Shakespeare's plays were being exclusively performed by a troupe called Lord Chamberlain's Men, who became the top company in London. And then eventually he was actually endorsed by the king at the time, King James I. And after that, he was just there. The troupe was just known as the King's Men. Okay. He really just like honestly continues to be extremely successful as a writer and an actor in his own plays. And then he just retired in 1613. Okay. So it's about 21 years after he got started. Oh, okay. Yeah, so he retired in 1613 because his like prized theater burned down after performing Henry VIII. Oh. Which, if I'm not mistaken, Henry VIII is the one who like chopped off all his wife's heads. Oh. Yeah, and you would be surprised. It wasn't like anybody who did it. It was a special effects cannon that ignited the roof. Like, they had a cannon shot in the play, so they had a special effects one that shot a blank, and it lit up the roof, and the entire thing burned down. Oh. So he retired in 1613. He died 3 years later, literally months after describing himself in perfect health in his will. So, getting down to, like, the nitty-gritty of the actual authorship question, over 80 people have been chosen by anti-Stratfordians. That's the the doubters call themselves anti-Stratfordians.
Oh.
They don't believe he wrote it.
Okay.
But over 80 people have been chosen to be the true author of Shakespeare's plays. Majority of these people are involved in so-called group theories, which are theories that say it was a group of people who worked together to write the plays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
a lot of people think that like they're just too good for one person to do all by themselves. So
Yeah.
Delia Bacon's The Philosophy of the Plays of Shakespeare Unfolded, published in 1857, proposed the very first group theory, attributing the works of Shakespeare to, quote, a little clique of disappointed and defeated politicians,
Oh.
end quote. So, politician stuff. Other group theories include William Shakespeare as a real person who was part of the group, and he kind of like figureheaded the whole thing, like took credit for everything but shared the profits, and was like more of a businessman, and then they all like split the money, stuff like that.
Okay.
Other experts think that it was a secret society that worked together to produce the work. Most notably, the Jesuits, which is like a Catholic secret society.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's called like the New Order of Jesus or something. That's like another name of it, or maybe it's like the Secret Order of Jesus. I don't know, something like that. And also the Freemasons.
Oh.
Yeah, people think they were up to it. And then another group theory that I kind of liked was that it was a father and son duo.
That's cute.
Walter and Robert Devereux, first and second Earls of Essex, respectively.
Ooh, Earl.
Yeah, so that's especially why
I know.
But I thought that was kind of funny. I think
That's
it'd be
cool.
cute to be writing like forever famous plays with your dad.
That'd be so cute.
And then as far as like people who are believed to have written the plays solo, there's a few theories. My favorites are the King of England, Edward the Sixth,
Oh, okay.
which would be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
The Queen of England, Elizabeth the First,
Oh my.
Anne Hathaway,
Oh.
Shakespeare's wife,
Yeah.
the King of Scotland, and later also Ireland and England after Queen Elizabeth, James the Sixth, which is especially insane because this theory was initially proposed by Malcolm X. He's the one who came up with that theory.
No.
A little callback. So he was James the Sixth when he ruled Scotland. When he became King of England, he became James the First, who was the one who made Shakespeare's acting troupe the King's Men. So,
You could just change. Wait.
well, he endorsed
Yeah.
himself their acting troupe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so honestly, it's like, it's crazy, but like, if you were writing plays, like, you would want to give your own acting troupe like as much like propaganda as you could. Like, nah, these are the King's Men. Watch Shakespeare's plays. Other than that, Mary, Queen of Scots, and then Anne Wheatley, who was supposedly Shakespeare's first fiancée.
Oh, scandal.
I know, but and then obviously like a large number of poets and playwrights from the time
Yeah.
are like considered to be the people who wrote them. The main reasons for doubting that Shakespeare is the true author is that he constantly signed his name in different ways on a bunch of documents.
He's just a silly guy.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't have an education, but that's like, how could he write these things if he doesn't have an education then? But sometimes he would put a dash between shake and spear. Sometimes he wouldn't. And then sometimes he would spell it like Shakespeare, like S-H-A-K, spear.
Oh,
Shakespeare.
that's fun.
Yeah. I like to read it like Shakespeare. It's like, came back. But, another thing is that from an uneducated position that Shakespeare was in, he had like a very deep understanding of women, most of all. So people were like, oh, it was a woman who wrote it because no man could write a woman like this.
That's true.
Yeah. And then also he had a like insanely deep understanding of like the court system, of like the royal court. It's like technically if you're just some uneducated person from the middle of nowhere, like you wouldn't really have the knowledge that he had of like the royal court.
Okay.
But other than that, is a lot of the surviving documents that we have today show that Shakespeare was definitely more like a businessman, real estate investor, and a moneylender, as opposed to like a playwright and actor. Like all the documents we have are like he was making money moves, you know? Like,
yeah, because he was writing really good things.
I guess. I mean, yeah. But after Shakespeare's death, his will didn't mention anything about his unpublished plays, any of his poems, papers, or books. Yeah, he just didn't think that they were worth it, I guess. I don't know.
Well, no, I feel like he probably thought that they were worth it, but wouldn't you have gotten in trouble for those things? So he probably didn't want to
Like as a political person?
Yeah.
No, at the time, he was putting his name on everything.
Oh, until...
Yeah. Like, okay, so I guess to say if you completely believe that Shakespeare did write all of his works,
yeah,
then, like, the reality is that he never faked anything. He put his name on everything. He acted in all of his own plays.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, he didn't put any of his unpublished work in his will to his children or his wife.
Huh. Okay. I will retract my statement.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
Even if he didn't want him to publish it, so it was like his family didn't get in trouble, like you would want to make sure that like they were in safe hands, right?
Would I?
I don't know.
I don't want you to know my deepest, darkest secrets.
Yeah, but if you're writing plays, I feel like they're not your deepest, darkest secrets.
They're unpublished for a reason.
Okay, understandable. I get that. Another super interesting thing is that after his death, there is no record of any mourning or like eulogies or anything from anybody until like almost a decade after almost a decade after he died. And then some of his friends took all of his work and published it in a collection.
Oh.
And that is called the First Folio. But in that, there is some eulogies. But that was like published like 7 years after he died. There was nothing between that time.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it was like nobody cared.
Oh.
But, I mean, with all the doubts and all that stuff, my personal belief is that I subscribe to Occam's razor. And if you don't know, this is another fun fact. Occam's razor is the simplest solution is the most likely. So I believe that William Shakespeare was a real person and also the same person who wrote all of his own works.
Yeah.
That's the simplest answer. Like, I don't know.
But it's a cool theory.
It's crazy. It's crazy that like some actual like knowledgeable people are like, yeah, no, he didn't do it.
I think there's some evidence that they're going off of, but it does make you question, but.
And see, like, you would think that, but I think the main thing is they're not going off evidence, but they're going off lack of evidence. But also,
that's still evidence.
It was like 400 years ago. There's not going to be a lot of evidence left over.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so next time you think, oh, I wish I was in medieval times, just remember, over 1,000 public executions a year.
And there was poop in rivers.
Oh, yeah. You could not walk down the street.
That is so gross. I could never.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts about Shakespeare?
No.
Do you believe he did it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he wrote them. I think
don't
he was a
know.
real person.
After I learned that Malcolm X was like, yeah, no, it wasn't him. I was like,
You-
okay, maybe not though.
Fair. It was cool though. I liked it.
All right, well then let's get on to the review. Okay. So I had the fruit punch beatbox, but I also did try the blue raspberry beatbox. I think there was also other flavors at the store.
I think there was like one other flavor.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
I feel like it was like a mango.
Oh.
So that sounds kind of right.
Yeah, that sounds right. Like I said, it's tropical themed.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of tiki stuff on here. Like mango makes sense.
Mine has an eyeball on it.
Ooh, where?
Right here. An eye.
Oh.
Is yours not?
No, mine's all like shaka signs and surfboards.
I got a blueberry, a microphone, and
What?
an eyeball.
That's way cooler.
Yeah.
Okay, I got tiki masks, surfboards, shaka signs,
That's still cool.
palm trees.
Those are still cool. Really cool.
All right. Well, in
Oh,
my opinion,
I got a margarita.
yeah, I got one of those too.
Oh, I guess.
You're not special. No, I'm just kidding. But I would give the fruit punch a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I feel like I was expecting a little bit more out of it. Maybe I wish it was like a little bit more sweet. Like you could taste the alcohol
Oh, 100%.
pretty well in it, but when I tasted yours, it tasted better. But I don't know. I think dang, actually, can I have another sip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to try mine again?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. Because I'm going to let you all know I would give this drink a between a 5.5 and a 6. So 5.75. I don't hate it. The blue raspberry is a little easier for me to drink than the fruit punch was.
Yeah.
But this is still like at least half full because I'm not a fan.
Okay.
But some people might be. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I think it's really good, actually. I think I might move mine up to like a 9.
No.
Yeah, you're right. No.
That was too high.
That's got to be reserved for something very special.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I think it's an 8. Like, I could drink these. They're like way good. I think the blue raspberry one, it has kind of a funky flavor. The fruit punch one tastes just like fruit punch with like a little bit of a kick.
It's so hard to drink.
You can taste the alcohol more in the fruit punch one.
Yes.
But I feel like the blue raspberry one just has like a little bit of a weird like tang on it.
See, and I feel like it would be good if you did blend it.
Oh, it would be so good.
I think it would be good if you blended it. So maybe one day down the road we will try that.
Yeah.
Like we'll retry these and see if our minds have changed like a year from now.
Yeah, we'll just like start the podcast and be like, okay, blending now.
For all of you to hear.
Yeah.
If you weren't annoyed enough,
Yeah,
listen to our blender.
If we have to deal with it, you have to deal with it.
Yeah, sharing is caring.
But no. So, 6?
5.75.
Whoa. Okay, I didn't know this was like a 2 decimal point scale.
It is. Well, it's between a 5.5 and a 6.
Okay. I would give it an 8.
Okay.
I think it's pretty good. Like, I would drink this. If it was around, I would definitely grab it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, that has been 2 facts and a clink.
Always remember to be kind to yourselves. Life's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other last words?
No, I don't think so. But I think I should re-say that. Be kind to yourselves.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.